All right. Actually, y'all hush up over there. I got something to say right here.
First of all, let me
Hey, now
introduce
you don't be
myself.
talking. I'm fishing. I'm the one that's got the microphone.
Okay, okay.
I'm Mickey Durham. This is Ernie Broom. I got a little story to tell about him. He's always getting me in trouble when we was kids,
No.
and I've held this in for about 55 years, and I'm ready to let it out. So
Uh-oh.
here goes. Y'all bear with me. I was 5 years old. We lived down off South 11th Street. His family moved in across the street in front of us. So actually, I might have been 4 years old, but who's counting? They moved in. We got to playing together, and he was a bad influence on me because he was a couple years older than I was. And I realized how good looking I am. He may not look that much older, but he is. Take my word on that. We out there playing, so one day we decided that we're going to crawl up under the house and build us a fire.
Campfire.
Yeah, so we're going to be camping and cooking. So we pile up the wood and we get the fire going, and he's showing me how to do all this, you know. I'm listening to instructions and follow it very,
Who had the
very good.
matches?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Who
he
had
brought the matches. Anyway, we got that fire going, you know, got the old skillet out, gonna cook some minnows up for today. You know, minnows was on the menu, so. Back in them days, you know, your floor didn't fit real good together, and the smoke was coming up through the cracks in the floor, so my dad come out to see what was going on, and he did drag both of us out from under that house, and Ernie did say that was probably the worst whipping he ever had in his life when my daddy got through with him.
Alfred really
And,
wore both of us out.
of course-
And the fire was still going.
Yeah, now daddy, he just patted me on the back and said, son, I know this wasn't your fault. He put you up to it, so you're in the clear. And I said, thank you, daddy. So,
Yeah.
you know, that's just one of the little tales that Mr. Broom here, trouble he got me in. So would you like to say anything?
Yeah, don't believe a word of it. I was brought under the house by Mickey. Mickey had the matches. He already had the rocks lined up for the fire. And all I did was say, what are you doing, son? No, we were both guilty. And he's right. Alfred whipped me and him that day. And then when I got home, I got another whipping.
Mm.
But I'm surprised we didn't burn the house down.
Yeah, we was blessed.
We were.
The house was sold, it just wouldn't burn. All right, we're going to stop it right there. But I got somebody else coming over here that they've done something to me, and I'm going to let you know what they done. So just hold on a minute. All right, Hop.
I forgot
I was gonna say, you didn't learn about the matches. I forgot about that. Me and him was shooting them out of a BB gun.
Yeah.
Our house on fire.
I learned more about matches. You might want to tell that, Larry, but all right, you didn't let me know when that machine's on. Oh, I'm sorry. All right, I'm Mickey Durham again, same one that just told that first story. This is my old buddy Larry Hopper. Larry Hopper, when I finally got away from Ernie Broom down there on South 11th Street, and we was fortunate enough to get to move to Cameron Street, which was a block on up the road there. I was out there playing in the ditch. It was flooded, and had my 2x4. That was my sailboat, and pushing that thing up and down the ditches. And here come old tall skinny boy up on a bicycle, and stopped, and he said, "Hey boy, what are you doing?" And I'm thinking, well, duh, I'm selling this sailboat right here. But you know, he won't know if he could get off and play with me. So that's been about what 55, 54 years ago, and he's still wanting to play with me. I don't know why. But he will take your sailboat away from me. But anyway, my story was I was going to say about him as we progressed along, went down behind the old sewer plant to do some carp fishing. We sitting up on the bank fishing. I guess we was about 10 years old, something like that. We both got our lines throwed out, and he's lollygag laid back over, not paying attention like he was supposed to be. Next thing you know, his old 202 and rod goes shoo, right off in the creek. Bad thing on that part is we was below the sewer pipe. And he's trying to bribe me to go in because he couldn't swim. He wanted me to go in and get his rod and reel, and I think he got it up to about $5. And the only reason I didn't go in is because they was releasing the sewage out into the creek, and it was a little dark going down the middle. And $5 just wasn't going to do it for me, and I couldn't get him up to 10. So if y'all want to go get that rod and reel, I'm sure it's still down there. But that's what I got to say about Larry Hopper. You want to say anything, Larry Hopper?
Well, remember, we did get the rod and reel back.
Okay.
Mickey was nice. He put on a treble hook, snagged it, reeled it in.
I was
brought
a
it in.
smart one.
The fish was still on there. And I say $5.
He's all about saving money. Tell him about the little BB gun in the match.
Oh, okay, yeah, from another store. Well, me and Mickey was putting matches in our BB guns, shooting them. And I'm pretty sure it was Mickey, anyway.
It probably was.
Shot it. It lit, and it went up in the attic of their house. And we could see a little fire, so we go get water, and we're throwing it up there. And at least we got the fire out, but we probably did water damage to the inside of the house.
Yeah, that just changed the stain color on the ceiling up there, what we did.
Oh, me.
All right, I guess we're gonna be done with this one, but we got one more coming over here. This is another troublemaker from South Gadsden. Step over here, Brother John. Let's talk a minute.
You be careful now, 'cause I pop anything.
Yeah, I'm sure you can. So I'm gonna be light on this one.
All right.
I'm still Mickey Durham, and this is my old buddy John Rayleigh. I've known John so long, I really don't even remember when we met, 'cause he just always was. So when I lived back off on South 11th Street, and that was before I got 6 years old John was down playing with me one day in the ditch in between the houses, which it was about a 6-foot deep ditch. I had my first pet, was named Snowball, a little old rat terrier dog. It had come a flood one day, and that old ditch was getting where it was draining on down some, and we was out there playing in it, and rats were all over the place in the little rat holes all in the side of that ditch. So that dog's out there digging those rats out of the hole, and we're helping him the best we can. And old Rabbit here, we called John Rabbit back then, he decided he gonna run his hand up in that hole and get one of them rats. But what he didn't realize was it wasn't headed into the hole, it was coming out of the hole. So he grabbed a hold of that poor little old rat, and that rat grabbed a hold of that finger, and there was the awfulest little You remember
I
that?
remember that. I remember that. Right there, probably. But you know, there's other scars on that hand too, because old Larry Hopper one time beside the old practice field there at Banks Park, there was flying squirrels, you know,
Oh, yeah.
and we would climb up in the trees and try to get those flying squirrels to jump out where we could catch them. And what I found out, it's sort of a revelation that day, you understand?
I
is
know.
you climb up in there and you reach your hand in there, and it is so much easier to grab a hold of a flying squirrel than it is to turn loose of one.
You got that
Because
right.
that thing, if you look there, you see on close examination, all them scars there. That thing had me bit about 15 times before I turned it loose. Yeah.
Well, I tell you, I remember them days. I can remember behind Porter's store chasing those flying squirrels from tree to tree, trying to kill them with a BB gun. And you could pop them, but it just wasn't strong enough to kill them. But we sure put some sore places on their rear ends.
Yeah. They're knocking them nighthawks out of the trees down there with
Yeah.
rocks.
All right, I'm done with this tale, so I'm going to turn it over to Brother John.
Well, I'll tell
You
one.
gonna talk.
It don't involve any of you guys.
All right, go ahead.
We used to go down across the road from where I lived to the Wilmore's place. And there was the kid that was our age, was Benny Wilmore. And they had a barn, and it was stayed full of hay and such as that. And in the summer days, sometimes we'd go up in there and we'd take us a nap. And Benny had a habit, his daddy kept the hay wagon parked right outside the hall of the barn, just in front of the loft of the barn. And when he'd wake up, or anytime he'd exit that barn, he'd exit by diving out of the top of the barn, out of the loft, into that wagon. Well, while we were taking a nap, it came a little shower of rain. And his daddy had gone down there and moved that hay wagon back up into the hall of the barn. When we woke up, old Benny went diving out there, and I can still just see the back of his feet, the soles of his feet as he went off that thing. And I heard him screaming, "Whoa!" And he hit the ground out there. And I reckon Benny, he's out in Washington now. He's probably still digging gravels out of his face and arms and legs and all.
That's a good one.
Yeah. There's a bunch on Benny, but too bad he's not here.
Yeah.
Bless his heart, he's out in Washington State.
His
Which,
brother's here.
yeah, CB's out there. But I reckon that's all. I got a bunch of them, but I ain't going to tell about that one because the rest of them come back around and bite me. All
I
right.
guess we'll wind it up.
That's a tape.